Hey everyone, today we're talking about sorting, one of the most important tasks in coding. And we'll break down three popular sorting methods, that is, bubble sort, merge sort, and quick sort, in the simplest way. Sorting means arranging items in order, like numbers, from smallest to largest. We sort data to sort faster, compare easier, or just to keep things organized. So let's start with the simplest one, that is bubble sort. So bubble sort is an algorithm that repeatedly checks through the list and it compares adjacent elements and swaps them if they're in the wrong order. That means this algorithm checks through every element in your list and arranges them from ascending to descending order. So let's take a quick example. We'll take an array that will consist of numbers 1, 8, 4, 2, and 3. So what we're going to do is first we're going to check the first element in this array. It is 1. It is the smallest term. The smallest term should be on the left and the greatest term should be on the right. So what we'll do is we'll first check this element. It is 1. So it will remain in its place. Then we'll check the second element. It's 8. It is greater. So 4 will come instead of 8, and then 8 shifts here, and we have 2 and 3 as it is. In the next step, we'll check the first element, it's 1, it will come directly. Then we'll check 4. So 4 is smaller than 8, so it remains here. Then we check for 8. 8 is greater than 2, so 2 takes 8's place. Then we have 8, and then we have 3. In the next step, you'll repeat the same process. The first one remains the same. 4 is greater than 2. So 4 takes 2 place and it swaps. And then we have 8, it remains as it is. And then we move on to the next step. We'll check the first element, it's 1. We'll check the second, it's lesser than 4. So we write 2 as it is. Then we check 4, 4 remains as it is. Then we check 8. So 8 is greater than 3. So here comes 3 and here comes 8. Then we'll check again. Then we have 1, 2. 4 is greater than 3, so 3 gets swapped with 4. And then we have 8. So in the end, we can see all the elements are now arranged from ascending to descending order. So you keep doing this again and again, like bubbles rising to the top. The biggest number slowly moves to the end. It is only good for learning and not used in real life examples. Next is merge sort, smarter and faster. So in merge sort, we apply the theorem of divide and conquer. So here we have a list. It contains 7 elements. And first of all, we'll divide this into two parts. The first part will contain 12, 8, and 9, and the second part will contain 3, 11, 5, and 4. Then further, we'll divide this into two parts. Then we'll get 12, 8, and 9. So this part got divided into two parts. And then this one will get divided into 3, 11, 5, and 4. So what we need to do is we need to break down this list into individual elements. So further we'll divide this into 8 and 9. We'll divide this into 3 and 11. And we'll divide this into 5 and 4. So here we get individual elements, that is 12, 8, 9, 3, 11, 5, and 4. So we need to backtrack these elements to the original state and then we'll arrange it accordingly. From the previous step, we took individual elements and we've displayed it here. So the next step will be to pair these elements. So we've made pairs of 2 and 4 is single here. So the next step will be that you arrange these pairs into ascending order. So what we did here is we took this pair and we arranged it into ascending order. That is 3, 8, 9, and 12. Same here. We arranged 4, 5, and then 11. And then the last step will be to consider these two pairs and then arrange it in ascending order. So here the least element was 3 and the greatest element is 12. So we've arranged it accordingly. quicksort, one of the fastest in practice. So, even in quicksort, we use the concept of divide and conquer. You pick a number and it's called a pivot. Let's take an example. Consider we have an array consisting of number 5, 2, 6, 4, 1, and 3. So in this case, we need to choose a pivot. So the pivot can be any element between 5 and 3. You can even choose 6 or 4 or 1. But in this case, we'll use the number 3. So after choosing the pivot, what we're going to do is the pivot becomes the central point. And on the left side, you need to add small elements, and on the right side, you need to add great elements. So it's not necessary that you need to sort it beforehand, but you'll see which elements are lesser than 3. So the elements lesser than 3 are 2 and 1. So this comes on the left side, that is the small elements. And then on the right side, we'll add 6, 5, and 4. There's a point that the elements need not be in the ascending order now, because we'll change it later on. Apply the concept of divide and conquer again. So we'll group 2 and 1, and then we'll group 6, 5, and 4. So in the next step, what we are going to do is we are going to create another pivot. That is, you can create a pivot out of 2 or 1. In this case, I'm taking 1 as the pivot. Now, the smaller elements need to be on the left side. So there's no smaller element than 1. So therefore, I'm writing 2 on the right hand side. That is the greater side. Next, I'll look into this one. Then I'll choose one pivot. For example, I'll take 4 as the pivot. I'll write 4 here. And I'll check if there's any element greater than it. I do have greater elements, that is 6 and 5. Then in the next step, I'll again create pairs of 2, and then I'll sort it accordingly. I'll take 5 as the pivot, and this is greater. Therefore, after sorting, you will see a pattern that all the elements have been arranged in the ascending order. Here we have 1, 2, then we get 3, then we get 4, and then we get 5 and 6. So let's clean this up, and I'll write it in ascending order. So the answer comes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's quickly compare them. So the first is bubble sort. It is easy but slow. Then we have merge sort. It is fast and safe but uses more space. Then lastly we have quick sort. It is the fastest, but in worst case scenario it can be really tricky. All three help you to learn how sorting works and are great for using in coding interviews and practices. Sorting is a key part of learning DSA. It builds logic, helps with sorting, and prepares you for interviews. If this video helped you understand sorting better, give it a like, subscribe, and comment. Sorting makes sense. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.